Maple syrup producers on Canada's east coast are dealing with some of the worst conditions they have seen in years. Storm damage from Fiona, uncooperative temperatures. That combination is making for poor production this season. Brett Ruskin is here with us live. Dare I say you've been tapping into the issue, Brett?
A sticky situation, Heather, for maple syrup producers this year because it's just the conditions have been so poor. We take a look at January. It was the warmest January this year, last month, that we've seen on record for the last at least 3 decades or so with hot temperatures. That's not good for maple syrup producing. And then this month, early in this month, we had that deep freeze, temperatures dropping down to minus 30, minus 40 degrees in some areas. So that's record low temperatures. Some of the producers who in fact tapped their trees, and hammered the taps in, had them just pop out of the trees that were in that deep freeze. So they had to manually go tree by tree, reinstalling, rehammering in those taps into the trees. So not a good situation in terms of the temperatures. Also not a good situation because of Fiona. We know that the storm caused $1 billion of damage here in the Maritimes, here in Atlantic Canada when it hit back in the fall last year. Hundreds of thousands of trees down. Obviously problem for maple syrup producers relying on those maple trees. Here's one producer talking about the storm and the damage and the impact it had.
Throughout like Cumberland, Colchester, Pictou, Antigonish, Cape Breton counties, it's definitely, there would be 30% of the taps that we're in 2022 are not viable or damaged to the point where they won't be in 2023 for sure. So that impact is going to be significant.
So damage from Fiona, uncooperative temperatures, just going to be a tough season, it looks like, for maple syrup producers here on the East Coast. Heather?
What effect might this have, Brett, on the producer's bottom line?
Yeah, it's tough to say because the producers say that they don't know exactly how the economics of a season are going to shape up until towards the end of the season. But you take a look at the numbers that we do have. We know that Fiona, depending on where you are in the Maritimes, in Atlantic Canada, how much damage Fiona caused, there was 30, 40, even 50% of the trees in people's land knocked down or damaged, made unusable for maple syrup production. Then you put on top of that the temperature issues we've been having. It is going to be a very difficult year in terms of profitability, in terms of revenue for maple syrup producers. But again, they won't know exactly how bad until the weeks and months ahead. Heather?
Thank you very much. The details there from Brett Ruskin live in Halifax.